Welcome back, welcome back. We're gonna just take a little short out of Sedestro, um, something. And I don't really care about too much of this. It's just one particular thing this woman says. And I'm like, yo, women are so hypocritical. It's really bad.
She was basically his sugar mommy, and that just didn't sit well with her. But let's put this in perspective. I don't think she's a quote unquote single woman by choice, so to speak. If I'm
Context. This is I believe a black woman. She's 50 years old, looking like she's still fucking 35. She's retired, so she's got it good, to take care of herself. And she moved to Panama, and she can't find a good man for some reason.
not mistaken, she's actually a widower. And also, I honestly think she looks very good for a 55-year-old woman. Because
Yes. Like, it's a shame to see many, that age gracefully. Maybe not age and the body stays, like you may lose a little bit of your body, get that natural woman, I have a tummy, and it's okay because that's what women have. And like, but she's looking like she works out a lot or takes care of herself. And it's sad to see women that do this and can't figure out the simplest thing in the world. Like, I literally was talking about this in a bunch of episodes a couple of months ago, maybe last year. And I said, I don't know how these women don't realize, like, one, you're older now, so the high value man you're looking for is he wanted you when you were younger, and you didn't want him. And then what makes it worse is she's American in another country. So more than likely, she says somewhere along the line, I don't know if it's gonna get played, that her new dating standards is whoever's there has to speak English because she didn't realize how much of a problem that was gonna be for her. So now they have to speak English, which eliminates a large percent of the men down there. And I said to myself, like, I don't understand how these women don't get it. Like, you're older now, taking care of you, and all these dumb things that you just want. You just really don't want that. You want somebody to be there that's not gonna cheat, that's not gonna run around and be interesting and maybe look, good a little bit. But to have this mind state at such an older age because you still look young, you don't need a man to take care of you. But once you say those words, I don't need a man to take care of me, then you should not be financially looking for a man financially then, because you're taken care of already. You know, soon as you say those words, then you have to appeal to those men, and you're 50 and you're in a foreign country where there's hot women everywhere, way more than America. You know, and they're naturally like that. They're not running around with fucking filters and butt implants. You're in Panama, baby. Those titties are real. That ass is real. That's not a BBL.
as we know, most 55-year-old women have that lunch lady, court bailiff aesthetic at that tender age. Or if she's on that Ozempic, it's that Bethany Frankel, Anna Navarro, Skeletor type look.
Jesus Christ.
It's clear that men in their 50s.
Sorry, ladies. I was hoping I passed that part, but it works. It helps a little bit because it should be a wake up call that if you don't have those, if you're not looking like that, you're still looking a little youthful. That's a big advantage, but men in your age group, one, we don't really care about beauty like that, you know, because it's how I'm going to be around you and how annoying are you? How are we going to get along? Because beauty doesn't mean we're going to get along.
60s and even 70s are out in foreign countries living the Viva Loca. Really, what do you think the success rate will be for the average 55-year-old woman abroad?
So, dating Panamanians now. My requirement now would be that you definitely have to speak English. I am learning Spanish, but how can I date somebody that does not speak English or understand?
Well, maybe you shouldn't have moved to a country where they speak more of the other language than your language, because they're naturally going to speak what they're you know, that's just that's baffling, you know. It's understandable though. Like, I'm sure there's some only very few, but I'm sure there's a lot of them that can speak English. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even want to go to a country where I don't speak the language and date the most beautiful woman because she's beautiful, but I don't speak the same language. What the fuck is wrong with people? You don't think about things like that before you go and move there?
English. So that would be something that I would be looking for now. And before, I really didn't think that it would be a huge issue, but it's definitely a huge connection issue.
Because when you're in America, you didn't have to think about problems like that, you know? See, when you're gonna make a big move like to another place, you have to think about future problems. That's what men do. Before we go somewhere, before we decide almost anything, not every man, we're talking about average good men, you know, or above average. The ones you want, the high value, they definitely always do this. Before they do anything, they make sure of things like this, and then they go. They don't go down in and like, yeah, not speaking this language is gonna be a problem for me.
For me. So that would be my criteria now moving forward, and that they would need to have a job. I am retired, so I'm here all day. I do have a routine that I do every day, and I don't like to.
If you're a decent woman, right, saying that you require a man to have a job is the stupidest thing to do, because we're talking about equally yoked or supposedly or decent men. So having a job is kind of like the beginning stages of just being a good man, because you're holding your shit down. Saying, I hate when women say that. It's so stupid. It's like a man saying, I don't know, something that majority of the women that you gotta look good. I want you to averagely at least look good and take care of yourself. That's the response men will usually probably say. And women probably be like, well, duh. Any woman that looks good and you're looking at, well, obviously she must be doing that, right? So we do the same dumb shit.
Deviate from it. Moving forward, I definitely know that that is what I would be looking for in a Panamanian mate.
Yeah, so now we leave America to go to a third world country and push your more unreasonable expectations that didn't work here on them. Yes, we're talking about Panama, a country, by the way, that has some of the most attractive women available.
Like, I don't know what, like, I'm not saying nothing, I ain't trying to be mean, but like Spanish women, and you know, like they're real, they got the body, you know. And then not all of them, a lot of men are going over there and never coming home. But you know, it's like it's the same thing as America. It's not like you're not competing with the younger, youthful women. You know, that's your competition, and the older women or whatever, right? And then you got to realize those women over there are not American women's, and his American money over there means he's better than what he was over here. So that means if he was average here with his money down there, he's Big Poppy. You know, that means the beautiful young ones are gonna be like, wow, he got the money, and he look good, and he's not from here. So it's like when you went down there for the first time, I'm sure a lot of dudes are flocking to you because you're the new person, and then you don't look like everybody, so you're exotic. So you gotta equate that into, like, you know, your odds of getting a good man.
Imagine going to another country and requiring the men there to learn your language to date you. What a cocktail of arrogance and entitlement.
Usually when passport bros decide to go live in a country, they start learning the language. Because that's where they're going to live. Or at least get the translators. You know, we got a lot of technological greatness with that now. I've seen some devices that are just amazing.
But look, I have no doubt that most passport sisters will find the 6'6" NBA MVP, Nobel Peace Prize, conservative, feminist, Democrat, UFC fighter, ex-porn star that's in touch with his emotions. 6'6" NBA MVP.
Yo.
Cocktail of arrogance and entitlement. But look, I have no doubt that most passport sisters will find the 6'6" NBA MVP, Nobel Peace Prize, conservative, feminist, Democrat, UFC fighter, ex-porn star that's in touch with his emotions. Because remember, they're all tens.
I believe whatever I come up with in my head, because why would I lie to me?
Dating
Because nobody likes to be wrong.
expats here in town, after the Panamanian, I just kind of felt like, okay, this will be cool. I'll date somebody who understands me, an American. We speak English. We understand each other. No, ma'am. That wasn't the case either. Financially, he was able to take care of himself and take care of me. I wouldn't say that he wasn't able to take care of me. He was able to do that. Territorial with, this is what I want you to do, this is what I don't want you to do, had so many rules and all this other stuff. So
It's not territorial. It's I've been living my way this way. If you do those things, it interrupts what I'm normally doing, and then that's going to make us argue and fight. So we're just going to have a shitty relationship. You know? It's the same thing like what women say. I want you to speak my fucking language in your country. I want you to have a job. I want you to do this. I want you. It's the exact same thing. So women really got to start realizing it's called a relationship. You bring your fucking what you want. I bring what I want. And I don't want this. And you bring your I don't want that. And we negotiate. If you don't learn how to negotiate a relationship and forming a relationship, then, like, how do you expect to really pick someone out of this world with all these options? And then it's like women are you're trapping yourselves.
that didn't work out either. I mean, I'm a free spirit.
Translation. He had standards and boundaries, and I don't know how to be submissive to a man. Yes, he spoke English and had enough money to take care of me, but I don't feel comfortable listening or taking orders from a man.
A lot of them, especially my age, they know here in Panama that they can.
I mean, if you're working if you're retired, she says she's retired and he's working, I'm sure he probably needs to keep his little schedule, because when a man makes a schedule and needs people to act a certain way and be a certain way, it all revolves around us going to work, and so we can take care of ourselves and the people around us. Because women usually leave you when that falls apart. They usually consider you a fucking bum ass nigga. So we know from beginning to end, we got to make sure that we're providing. I need stability in life so I can get the fuck up every day, and that's how a man does it. It's not men automatically just get up. When we don't have you, we find other things that make us happy, and we still have to put that regiment, that routine into play. It's very crazy how 1 minute women want you to have a routine and be a responsible man, but that's the very thing that's going to break them from you, because it's rules, and it actually made you successful enough to make her even want to look at you. But no, stop doing those rules. Stop doing the thing that made you to be what you are, so she cannot like you because you're not who you are no more.
Date very, very young here. The women here, the Panamanian women.
So that means you're fucked. You get it? That means a nigga can go down there, see a retarded, most beautiful woman in the world, and say, I'll take care of you. And she's gonna be on a dirt road with fucking one parent living on the fucking side. You get it? And she's gonna be like, okay, I can actually have a toilet. I can go sleep in that hotel room with him now, not this shack. I love him. I love you. I can't believe you chose me out of all these women here. You know we'll take you on 4 at a time, right? And you just chose me. You're competing with that.
Here will definitely entertain an American man at whatever age. You can be 90 and walking down the street with a beautiful Panamanian.
So what does that mean for your odds? You get it? That means all the men there can go even younger than America, which means they can beat their head in and have them locked onto them forever. And then they share their men down there. Not saying all of them, but if you're not a fucking married, you're still free. So you're competing with that. That's like what you lived over here, but it's on steroids because they're naturally beautiful, They're not all on the internet all day. So you can go out there and find a woman that doesn't even know what fucking YouTube is. She doesn't even know what half this stuff is that make men mad at women. They don't watch that stuff. They don't even know about it. They're still living like back down there or whatever. I'm sure they have their monetization too, but the poorer you go, the less internet you can actually have, so then the less influence this wicked bullshit can have on you. So you kind of see why men would want to go out the country and find women that have no idea about the internet and all this bad stuff away and how to do all these things, and they're still back to their old natural ways, like, having a farm and clean, and it's not even a thing to them because they're like, no, this is life. I'm not going to complain I got to clean a man's house. What are you talking about? I don't even have it. I never lived in a house. I never lived in an apartment. I've been living in a fucking shack for fucking 3 generations.
Woman. So trying to find an American guy here, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but
it should be quite easy because any man that goes down there, well, not any man, but I'm sure there's a lot of men that has the problem like you, and they want to feel a little slice of home. When you speak to your spouse, they speak the same language as you. They get your American dumb fucking jokes, When you talk about the Fonz and fucking P. Diddy's and, when you start bringing up things and they're like, I don't even know any of those. None of that shit means nothing to me. You get it? So, trust me, the American men, we have to give up that to go be with other people that will be traditional and, maybe not all the way traditional, but actually like the man. Like, it's called sacrifice. When you move down there, you should have knew you had to make sacrifices.
Unless you get them after they're exhausted from everybody else here in Panama.
And this is what I made this video for. This hypocritical moment right here.
But unless you get them after they're exhausted from everybody else here in Panama, I don't see that as being a potential situation.
And there you have it, my friends. Mother Nature will always bow down to Father Time.
Now, ladies. I'm sure not all of you feel that way or whatever, and but let me explain how literally hypocritical that is to say. She says the men down here, or the American men, or maybe the viable men, the only way to get one of them is to wait for them to have their fun, you know, have your fun, eat your cake, or whatever that saying is, have your fun and eat your cake too, or whatever the fuck, right? And then when he gets tired of like just having fun and exploring and seeing who he is and finding out what type of good woman to be with by going through all the bad ones, you know? You know, like, if you haven't caught on to the reverse, that's what you sound like. I went through all those men, but I had to find myself. And now I found myself, and I know a relationship is what I want. So you mean to tell me you, a 50-year-old woman that maybe, I don't know if she's ever been married, but obviously you had more than one partner, right? Obviously you had fun in your lifetime, right? So at 50 years old, when you decided to settle down, you know, that means everybody had to wait for you till you had your fun and did your thing, right? So when women say that, you kind of see where I'm going? You can't say that when you're doing that. You know? Like, that was among some of the other things that was literally said that was like, yo, you're a hypocrite. You literally want people not to do the things that you're doing. You want people to adjust to your life without adjusting to their life. How you doing, man? And that's the key to relationships. And women really forgot that because the world kept telling you that a man is supposed to make you happy. A man is supposed to fit to your life. Well, seeing that a relationship, seeing that parenthood, seeing that paying those bills and all these things, it takes more than one person to successfully have everything going. You know? Man can pay all those bills and all that by himself. He can't have his own kid. He can't make himself feel special in a way a woman does when you acknowledge the things that you do about us and you pay attention and you help us get some things done in life. That's your use. And you strip yourselves of that all the time by only focusing on your own life and then like kind of forgetting you got to learn about your man. And you got to actually want to be around your man. You just the whole point of, instead of wasting your youth trying men out, you know, I understand if you date without sex, you know, and you're getting to know men, because how can a woman pick a man if she doesn't know any men, you know, she doesn't fucking, you know, so I'm not going to say you can't be around men. That's like same thing for a man. A man's not going to learn the type of woman he wants to be with if he doesn't experience women. But that doesn't have to mean sexually. Dating it should be only meant for one thing. I get to know you. Not spend fucking wife money or girlfriend money on somebody I'm getting to know. Now usually I'm screaming or I'm talking aggressive, but recently my father has humbled me, seeing in my own ways of wanting to choose women and, you know, kind of being unfair in certain ways. And that's why I always say it's good to reflect off each other and actually pay attention, because you can see yourself into somebody else. And most people only want to look at the good things. No, sometimes you gotta see the mistakes people are making and be like, oh shit, I think like that too. And it's not getting them anywhere, so why would it get me anywhere? You know? Anyway, for a while now, I said relationships, a lot of women are going to start wanting to be in relationships again. A lot of men, it's inevitable. Men love women and women love men. That's just the natural order of things. Now, getting along, it seems like we need how to be taught how to get along. And don't you think that's really strange, seeing that humanity has been here all this time, and now we have to figure out how to get along with each other or how to have a relationship. It's like we're all grown-ass adults, And that's why I never leave myself out of the name calling, because I'm a person too. I've had to walk this life. But at the same time, I've learned from my experiences and realized what the fuck is important in life. At least what I think is, because I don't want to... My importance to your importance may be different. You're not me. But it's crazy how many women are worrying about financial and all of this. You're 50 years old. You probably got 10 to 30, 10, 20, maybe 30 more years. Hopefully God bless us to 80, 90, 100, whatever. But your youth is gone. The older you get, the less you could do. So the time of your actual time of having fun without aching your body, that's 60, 50, and 70. And we're over here worrying about financials, and you're about to be in a fucking wheelchair. You're about to have depends on. And you're worrying about finding money, and I need a dude that speaks 3 languages. You need a man. When your ass is sitting there bitter and old by yourself, I'm telling you from experience watching my mother. And she wasn't on top. She wasn't retired and had it good. I could tell stories about women that were retired and had it good. And they stayed bitter the whole fucking time and blame men. Instead of just saying, it's not all men. It's the men I've been picking. And obviously, I keep picking dudes for having financial status and all of that. Maybe get with a fucking man that doesn't have all that money, and maybe he won't have all those rules. Oh yeah, well then you can't pretend you're fucking Barbie, or I got the best man in the world. You can actually say the words of, we're in love with each other and we make each other happy every day. We're spiritually and physically rich. I feel like $1 million. I feel like a queen when I'm around him. I feel like someone loves me. I know someone's there. It's like, god damn, bro. I don't understand how people forgot that. Like, yo, dog, you could be rich and be with a person you don't like. There's plenty of those going around. Women keep saying they want to be happy and keep involving money and status, and you got to do this, and you use. I'm like, yo, do you have any basic regular life, or do you live this Hollywood fucking stardom? You got to have a perfect man because you got paparazzi following you around. God forbid if you show up with a regular guy and actually be happy. And get off social media so everybody doesn't compare your relationships to fake relationships that are people paid to be together. A lot of these people are paid to be together. That's why most of them are getting caught now. That online shit is not what it seems like, bro. Like, good morning. I see a lot of women that are beautiful and older, and there's no way you're going to say there's 8 billion people in the world and no one can make you happy. Unless physical and financial things are the only things that make you happy, I guess, or some shit. Like this certain lifestyle. Maybe it is like that, But that makes me think, have you ever been happy? Because it seems like a lot of you's never had that. Good morning. Happy New Year. And it's sad to see that so many black women have retired and didn't get to form a family, and or maybe she does have kids, I don't know. But I don't get it. Like, does anybody want to be happy anymore? Or do people really only this magical story from your 20s and I gotta have the baddest bitch in the world. I gotta have the baddest looking girl, and she's gotta do flips, and she's gotta know how to do everything right every day. No, she's gonna make mistakes. No, he's gonna make mistakes. No, you're not the most interesting person in the world, and nobody wants to be around you all day. No one is. Some people are. You know who's most interested in another person? One person that's smarter than another. Since all these women have retired, since you become smart and men are not thinking about or doing all these things, and the men that are doing those things and thinking those things, they don't want you. They're rich. They don't want to philosophize and sit on the beach, and they want to sit on the beach and get head. And you're older now, and you can't be told to do things on command. You're too free. And there's nothing wrong with that freedom, except that freedom comes with a cost. That means you're by yourself. You're independent. That means you independently have to make yourself happy. That means you're independently supposed to make yourself not feel lonely. That's what God does. God is independent. He does not depend on anyone or anything to make things go. Get it? That's independence. The Lord. Everything under him needs him. Count on him. You get it? So unless you're a fucking godly being, sound the horns, then come back down to being a mortal like the rest of us and accept some of these flaws and actually stop passing up men that probably already are good for you. Now, if you can't get along and all of that, I understand. But I'm seeing women that's the dumbest shit in the world. He had too many rules. I mean, if you would have named a couple of them and it was absurd, then I would agree with you. But when women just say he had a lot of rules and all that, I don't want to hear that. You got to tell me the absurdity of it. That way it makes sense. But when you don't say things like what the rules were, it just means you're making shit up. It means he wanted you to be a certain way because that's what fits his life. And you said no. So, I don't know what to tell you.